Hello, my name's Professor Andrew Hugel and I'm the Professor of Creative Computing here at the University of Leicester. I'm going to talk you through the course in some detail, but if you have any further questions, please do feel free to email me directly at the address given on the slide that you're viewing now. This diagram shows the course. You'll see the 3 years are the rows, and semester 1 and semester 2 for the teaching are the 2 columns. And you'll spot straight away that each year has a year-long module, which is the spine of the year. So in the first year, it's a module called Digital Arts Lab. In year 2, it's Concurrent Design, and in year 3, it's Entrepreneur Project. The other thing you'll notice is that halfway through year 2, the course divides into the BA and BSc pathways, and you can choose as late as halfway through year 2 which pathway you are going to follow. So it doesn't matter which of the two you apply for right now, because the first year and a half is the same for everybody, and halfway through year 2 is when you decide whether you're doing a BA or a BSc. The other thing that's not shown on this diagram is that at the end of year 2, you can have the option to go for a year with industry or a year abroad. And these options offer the possibility of placement with a company, and we have a wide range of companies, both big and small, working mainly in the creative digital technology sector. So just going through the course then, the Year 1 Digital Arts Lab module, this is focused on making work. The students this year have been making 360-degree movies, virtual reality projects and digital mapping projects. But it also looks at digital aesthetics and at the work of various digital artists. And then in semester 1, you have 2 modules that are computer science modules, one looking at the fundamentals of computing and the other at fundamentals of programming. And programming is pretty key to the whole course, so you will be learning that from scratch. Don't worry about the level you're at the moment. We'll take you from wherever you are to wherever we need to get you to. Information management is offered by the Management School, and this is a business module. And Exploring Our Digital Planet is a geography module. We're a very interdisciplinary course, as you can tell, bringing in modules from across the university. And the Digital Planet module looks at map creation, but also analysing and visualising large data sets. And then in semester 2, Creativity and Computing. This is a theoretical module looking at the transformation that computers have brought about in terms of creativity. Games and Gamification is a module where you actually create games in Python mainly, and gamification is about the business of using games for more serious purposes in society. And Ideation and Design is really about creative thinking. So this is looking at getting you to think laterally, to think differently about problems, and to design solutions using a range of small software and hardware platforms such as Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and so on. So that's year 1. Year 2, Concurrent Design. This is a module that really brings you directly into contact with industry. So we work with industry partners. Currently we're working with people like ESL, Electronic Sports League, who do big multiplayer game tournaments, with the Attenborough Arts Centre, which is our partner on artistic projects, and with a range of other companies who will provide projects for this, including the National Space Centre, so we have a link with space missions. Concurrent design simply means that you design and make a product at the same time, and you will also be preparing business plans and doing all that's required to bring your prototype to a state of readiness. Databases and domain modelling. This is about the back end of the technology, so looking at the way that an application, for example a mobile phone app, would relate to some kind of underlying database. SciArt and big data analysis. SciArt is using artistic methods to solve scientific problems, and often these problems use very large data sets. So what we're thinking about there is things like visualization of data, often using some pretty interesting virtual reality, 3D, augmented reality, those kinds of visualizations. And then you have a choice. Using stories is a creative writing module looking at non-linear narrative. Digital storytelling sounds like the same thing, but it actually isn't. This is about creating stories on Facebook and social media using short movies, which you create yourself. And the psychology module, Introduction to Sensation, Perception and Cognition, obviously very important in terms of the way we understand how people relate to technology and how we perhaps use that relationship creatively. And then after that first semester, as I said, you choose your pathway. So if you go down the BA pathway, you'll do a module called Computational Arts. This involves creating an original piece of work, perhaps an installation or an exhibition or a performance, something like that. And if you're on the BSc, you'll do developmental computing. This is about parallel processing, high-end computing, software engineering, and so on. And then we have a pair of modules called entertainment. And these are basically the same module, but seen from two different points of view. So this is looking at games and broadcasting technologies. If you do the design side, then you're creating content for those. If you do the technology module, then you're looking at the back-end technologies in both cases. And then finally, everybody does a module called Working in the Creative Industries, which is obviously where you are going to end up in all probability. And this looks at typical creative industries, both locally and nationally, and indeed internationally. So at that point, you may go off on the year with industry or the year abroad. In your third year of the degree, your spine module is called Entrepreneur Project. And as the title suggests, what this is about is you developing yourself as an entrepreneur. So you'll either work individually or in a group to create a product and to take it to market. And this is supported by our Business Support and Innovation Hub, and you will be able to develop business plans, financial management, and so on, but most importantly, the product itself. The product, of course, could be anything. So it could be a piece of software, it could be some kind of hardware, or it could be some idea, business idea, or application. And then in semester one, Computer Society and Professionalism really provides the context for the Entrepreneur Project. So this is looking at the way that the computing industry and the tech sector generally functions and how you can be professional within that. Computational creativity, this is a module that focuses on artificial intelligence. And whereas in the first 2 years we're looking at the ways in which humans can be more creative with technology, now we're talking in computational technology about the computers themselves being creative, to what extent that's possible and to what extent computers can actually generate valuable creative work. Emerging technologies, the course generally is very future focused, but this module is specifically about technologies that will be important 3 to 5 years after you graduate. And this is obviously crucial because the one thing we know about technology is that it changes constantly. So actually being able to operate technology as it is today is, whilst important for now, is actually not going to be the most important thing. The most important thing is going to be being ahead of the curve and being able to see what's coming in terms of emerging technologies. And then if you're on the BA pathway, you do the Games and Culture and Technology Management modules. Games and Culture, this is about the way that games function in society and the wider culture. And Technology Management is really about innovation. And you will be innovating as part of the course, so being able to manage that effectively is very important. On the BSc side, Health Computing, this looks at the presence of technology in everything from surgery and medicine through to more therapeutic well-being and so on. And then AI technologies, in that module you actually create an artificial intelligence and you investigate the ethics of AI